I saw you last. You finished your new project, which is I've just finished listening to a few times, getting caught up with, which is called Parlay.
Parlay, yeah. The joint.
Like this close. Like
Yeah,
this.
too quiet. All right, word.
I just wanna have
Yeah.
If you want to lean forward, that's good. Actually, let's
Okay.
just do this.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about it. Like.
Yeah. So Parlay, it actually just the title itself came to me just chilling with the homies, and it was kind of like some conversation happened. We were actually just like hanging out with some girls, and it was like the situation, the energy, all just kind of was like, damn, we need to like assess this situation. And then I was like, yo, have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean? It's like, another part when they talk about like parlay in terms of they've got this situation, they're raiding the beach, and then it's like they got to deal with it, and they use that title for it. And then the word, I just felt like had a ring to it, and I was like, yo, that matches the kind of the energy that the project has, and so I just went with that.
It named itself.
Yeah, exactly.
I really liked when I first met you and you came through and you had like the 90s New York thing going on, and that's obviously like very strongly apparent
that's
on this project. Like that's the theme, right?
Definitely.
It just reminds me of like, with the movie skits thrown in there and stuff, like old Wu-Tang and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Those are definitely the biggest, I'd say, inspirations for sure. It's kind of like that Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang, energy, the Capadonna type of just like, you got to listen to it, 3-4 times to understand like what that word means there in that context and kind of how it all adds up. And I want people to, I want that replay value to really kick in.
Yeah, not just with some of your rhymes, which are intricate and like, require maybe a rewind, but like the vocabulary and then the metaphors and things that you're using are, it's like a language a little bit, like those guys that, adopted the whole mobster mentality from those movies and things like that in the 90s. They adopted like a whole culture and language around like, drug dealing and gang and gangs and things like that. Who are some of your bigger influences? Obviously we just mentioned them, but if you had to mention like one MC or two that like really made you want to get into this and start to emulate.
Word, yeah. In the beginning, I would say definitely like the RZA. He really, just his versatility, not only producing for Wu-Tang, but kind of, all the other subgroups he had going on. Plus his rapping, it's just stands by itself. You know? You kind of, as soon as you hear it, that's him.
Yeah,
and that's something that really was like, as soon as I start saying anything, I want people to know like, oh shit, that's Eshxq right there. So. Yeah,
the RZA, underrated as a MC. People always think of him as like the god of the Wu-Tang, the father, the guy that brought everybody together and made all the beats. But he had bars too, man, and he had such a unique way of delivering them too, with just like that monotone, multi-syllable thing that he had going on. Yeah,
it was dope. Yeah, I think aside from, a lot of the influence I get for like what I'm writing and kind of when I'm actually, delivering it, comes from, more soul type stuff as well, like Al Green, Davis, and like Jill Scott Heron, which is actually one of the beats that I flipped that I was for that first kind of track when I came to you earlier. That really, because his whole style is just, it's almost just like poetry, or you just like read, it doesn't even rhyme half the time, and it's like a heavy message focus. And I think that was something that really made me want to, just share my message and just share what I've got on my mind, and
there seems to be a serious lack of like poetry or just meaning in a lot of the modern hip hop that's out right now. There's definitely like a movement that we've been stuck in for, I don't know, 5-7 years where there just seems to be like very not heavy on the content, but heavy on the production and heavy on the image.
Definitely.
And so, it's nice to hear that coming back a little bit, even if it's not like what is in the mainstream, for you to still be doing it because you feel like you're being true to.
Definitely, yeah. And like you were saying with the whole language thing, that they, created their own dialect almost, and I think that trying to connect with that and take what I really appreciated from that, and what like how that inspired me to continue doing it in a with the same roots behind it.
Yeah.
I think obviously, content wise, I didn't come from the same place those guys did, and it's not like a an attempt to imitate that, but it's just a different angle of it, and anybody can create art and paint pictures, especially with words, and that's what this is.
Yeah, it's like a vehicle a little bit. Like you've adopted a vehicle or a way of telling the story, but through your own experiences, right? Like it's just like an angle or a lens that we're using that 90s capsule, but to tell the Eshxq story, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I think one of the most personal tracks on the project is probably Cherry Honda, where I talk about a $200 Honda whip that I stashed beneath the bridge, which is actually like a true story. I was dating this girl in high school. She was on some other just wildness, like the mace thing and the whole, that was really where I was at that time in high school and stuff. And so basically I was working at a cactus club in Yaletown, and one of my coworkers was trying to sell his car. I was looking for a car at the time, so I was like, yo, let me, take it for a test drive and like see if I like it, then we'll, proceed with the deal. I had a flight the next morning at, I think it was like 8 or something like that to New York. And I took the thing for a test drive. I didn't even, it wasn't the whip. It was more just for the time, just for the ride, So I took her for a drive. We like stopped underneath the bridge, chilled there. And then I was like, the next morning, I was like, yo, I left your whip under the bridge there. So go get it when you can type shit. And I just kind of, it was wild. But that was definitely, I think that's kind of a major theme of the project as well, is like, mistakes and just kind of outrageous behavior that, I've been through or witnessed, and kind of, at my point now is like just reflecting on it.
Yeah.
And now it's,
all the best art comes from real experiences, and you can just feel it. It's undeniable. Yeah. People like Eminem or people that are just they're just like, okay, open the book to my life. Here's my diary.
Exactly.
And then I'll put it on a heartbeat. And it's just like,
exactly.
Wow, people just die for that. They love it. Like, so, personal experiences, absolutely. Super important. Who did you work on with for the production and the recording and all that in this project?
Most of the recording was just done at home. Got my own little, setup. I also was in Headspace music studio down on like Main and Hastings.
Okay.
And then engineering. That's my dude Hero. Did the whole mixed mastered front to back. Did the whole thing. These two boys right here, Akeem, Don P. Like they really kind of kept me focused on content wise. Like really I think, and motivated. Like when it was kind of just like, damn, like I don't know if this is, sounding right. I don't know if this is the right direction or whatever. That was really, they were the back, they were support. So
so almost like producers in a way.
Yeah.
Like quality control and there for a second opinion. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just the team. Like, I mean, it's family shit. Like I couldn't do it alone. You know what I mean? I feel like nobody can really, I mean, obviously he can do it alone, but it's just like when you have the pillars of support that really kind of hold you up and push you to be the best that you can be, there's, that's what it's for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important. It comes up all the time. Like, people and their teams, and nobody does this alone. Like, the producers, engineers, photographers, managers, all the people behind the scenes that are there, like working together for one common goal. Like, there seems to be a theme with the successful people. They have people they can trust around them. That seems to be something that I've noticed,
For sure.
Not people that are there trying to, put their hands in their pockets and take something, but that they all want the same one mutual idea, one goal in the end.
Definitely.
So that's good. Yeah. Hang on to those people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think it's like, there's always, people that have their own agendas, and it's like being able to identify those people as quickly as possible, and then address how you're going to maneuver that situation. Like, it's just, it keeps you in a position of, you know, being able to kind of manifest your own destiny for shit.
And lets you like work on the things that you're good at.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. Instead of having to stress on like, oh, what's going on here, then you can just sit back, let things fall into place, and just focus on what you're trying to do.
Where everybody kind of knows their place and has their specialty. Mm-hmm. They can work on it, because it's, you know, been there in the past trying to write my own music, do my own album cover, be my own booking agent, be my own everything, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's too much. And then have a day job trying to maintain relationships, and it's like, so delegate and have people you can trust, and if someone can do it better than you, like, get that person for the job. Yeah. And that's okay. Like, 100%. You don't have to be, it's okay to say, will you do this? Like, you know, I'm not an engineer. Will you mix this for me? Like, you can do it better than me, or whatever the case may be, right? Everyone having their lane.
Yeah, I think it's super important not to be afraid of, you know, people who are talented, because rather than like, oh, they're gonna get the shine for having done this, you can't look at it like that, because then you're just closing doors for yourself, rather than like, okay, he's really good at that. What can I learn from him? You know, what can, like, even with P, like he just dropped his tape, Bummy But Luxury. Make sure you go check that out. And that's like, you know, that's his second joint, and it's like really the way we bounce ideas off each other. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, that's perfect for what that, you know, that message is in that tape. And then like, I'll have my shit going on, and it's like, yeah, I like I'll draw from his thing, he'll draw from my thing. And it's just this continuous, cycle of like elevation.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. And having people around you that are, what's the right word to say this? Like, athletes training with other high-level athletes is going to make them better.
I like that. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, if you have, or like boxers that have like high-level sparring partners, if you're just gonna, like, if you're high level but you bring bums into the gym to spar with, you're not gonna sharpen your sword as much as if you keep like MCs, other dudes that are like, oh shit, like he's coming with some fire.
Yeah, like,
I gotta work.
Just this morning, like, I wake up and I'm like coming out, and he's like, he's in the washroom, like brushing his teeth, and he's like, yo, like real quick, I gotta tell you something. He spits me this 16, and I'm like, damn, you almost ruined my day, bro. Now I gotta go, I gotta go rewrite my project, bro.
That's
like,
what I'm talking about.
You know, it's dope. So it's really, it's good shit.
What do you remember, like, the first time you got into a studio, quote unquote, or decided you wanted to record your own songs for the first time?
Well, I started writing after I broke my ankle, just doing some dumb shit. I just like jumped off a roof and busted my ankle. So I was in hospital for 2 weeks, and then, you know, cast bound for like 6 months after that. And during that time is when I really started, you know, getting deep into hip hop, and really, you know, assessing, oh, I like this about this group, I like that about, I don't like that about them, and really just kind of developing my own opinion, and then started writing. And from there, I was like, there's no reason why this should just stay in my pad. And I had a friend at the time who was doing his recording stuff, also on some just, you know, high school like hobby thing. Yeah. And I knew he had a mic. He invited me over because he knew that I was like starting to do the writing thing and trying to practice my flows and all that. So I just went to his crib. We chopped it up for a minute. He was like, "Yo, check out this beat." I think it was the Infinite Instrumental by Eminem. Okay. Actually, nice. Because that was his definitely his biggest kind of influence, or who he was trying to emulate. Yeah, most closely with.
Sure.
And yeah, from there it was just in his bedroom, just on the mic in there. And then after that, I went to the library, the studio library at the downtown, right by the stadium there.
Yes.
I was in there. With that. Yeah. And then it was just kind of trial and error. Like, brought homies from high school that wanted to try the rap shit too, to the library. And then I ended up copying my own mic, and then, you know, it just went from there. Just recording on like YouTube scraps and stuff like that, throwing it up on SoundCloud. And
that's great. That I can't stress that enough for up and coming artists of any genre, like to have a setup at home. Because I run into a ton of people that come here that have never recorded before at all. And you know, in a way they're kind of doing themselves a bit of a disservice. I think that for $100 you get an interface, another 90 to $100 you get an okay mic, and everyone's got a laptop, and then just practice that at home. Practice like how different it is to rap on the couch or on the way to the bus and actually rap on the mic and then hear yourself back and having to keep beat, practicing your breath. Like that needs to be refined and sharpened before you come to the studio.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but you know, it really does, it does pay off doing that preparation, I think is what I'm trying to say. So
for sure.
And it's not expensive.
No, it's not. And I mean, like, but you gotta invest in yourself, right? So if it's like, if you're about to do that, about to, you know, okay, I want to make this music shit, and I want to really become good at it.
Yeah.
Why shoot yourself in the foot and not invest in yourself in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And I think, that's definitely something that just having my own mic was really just like, whenever I felt like it, like, oh, totally. I've got this fly rhyme, and then you say the rhyme, you know, to yourself with headphones in, and you're like, damn, that's fly, and then you say it on the mic, and you're like, all right, I need to rewrite this part, this part, you know, and it's just a constant improvement tool, you know.
It's a really a great way to exactly an improvement tool, and just get you comfortable with the whole process of doing that, and then almost treat it like doing your demos, you know. Working out all the kinks like a comedian that's like preparing a set before they actually go out on tour and do it for Netflix.
Definitely.
It's like just work it out, and then when that's pieced together, then bring it to the studio and pay the money and get it mixed properly. But I'm pulling my hair out like silently in my head, you know, like when a lot of these new guys come through, and like I try my best to be there with open arms and encourage them, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, dude, like, should have come prepared. Like, what are you doing? You're not ready to be. You're just not ready to be here.
Yeah.
So
true.
Amazing having that home set up. That's huge, and the engineering, the mixing, it all has like a really nice kind of. It felt like a package to me on Parlay, and I really like the way that you guys incorporated the skits as well.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't catch all of them. I know there was like a Pulp Fiction one there. Tell me about some of the other skits that you guys chose.
The first one actually, the title of the track is Dick Gregory, and that's because, you know, the content basically before this part of the sample that you hear, the preacher who is Dr. Ray Haggins, highly recommend you go check out his videos. Like really, it's actually like just some of the craziest content. Like it's like biblical, but then he like, I don't know. Just check it out. It's worth the watch. Okay. But when he goes on, when he's talking about it, he's like, I don't know how to vacillate between comedy and hard, and that's basically he's referencing how Dick Gregory would, you know, make a joke, but the punchline is at the expense of like a political figure that's actually doing some effed up things in society. And so I thought that was a really powerful, you know, intro, because it's like, this music shit is like fun and it's, you know, entertaining, but it's also important that it's saying something valuable.
Okay.
And I thought that was just kind of, to set the tone. Dick Gregory type energy.
Each skit kind of felt like it had the same theme as the lyrics for that. Like it matched really well. You didn't just throw it on at the end. It was kind of like they complemented each other.
Yeah, that's what I was.
It was well thought out.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I was really going for that. Yeah, the second one is from The Wire, talking about how that day is going to go in terms of you know, the product they're trying to get rid of and come up off. So that I just felt the tone of the voice that was in that, it just really, again, suited the energy for Cherry Honda. What was next?
I got it open right here.
Yeah, I might forget.
We'll have to bring out our cheat sheet here.
Yeah, a little bit. Silk Schmog. Yeah. Silk Schmog. That title is that's
I wasn't sure how to pronounce that. Actually.
Yeah, that's like the Arabian scarves.
Oh, okay.
That kind of that are common in like Syria and Iran and stuff. But that one, I believe I have a Training Day skit at the end where he's like, we're no garbage men, we're professional anglers, you know, and I think that just sets the tone. I mean, I feel like the verse on that, followed by the little hook, is just, you know, it keeps it in a package, and it's rounded off nicely by the statement by Denzel in the end there, and yeah, it was just a nice little salt on the end.
It was, yeah. It's a little cherry on top of each one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That ends well.
Yeah.
Or opens. Opens.
Yeah, and then Taylor Denham had the Pulp Fiction skit there again. I was going for the most kind of like, you know, like still recognizable, but just kind of like, oh damn, like I haven't heard it, because I feel like a lot of times in movies, you know, you hear some crazy shit that they say that's like really powerful, but it's almost because the quote might be so long, like you focus on one part of it, and I was trying to, you know, bring out what stuck to me, and kind of create my own kind of motion picture, but sonically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
and almost like extend on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
On what he's saying.
Exactly. Like excerpts are kind of what they could have been hearing, listening in that scene, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because some of those, you know, hard to break down like an hour and a half of. It's hard enough to break down a song, but like all the stuff that's said in a movie.
Right. Yeah.
So when you just take a snippet like that and then condense it into just a clip, you really force people to tear it apart and think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think just and musically, like for the kind of the energy in my style, that's been a major influence. Like you know, from the Scarface skits in the Wu-Tang, like Only Built for Cuban Links joint.
Yeah.
The Shogun Assassin samples and Liquid Swords, like that's just, I don't even know how to speak on that. It's just so powerful. Like I really appreciate that whole aspect of music, even though it's not just like, you know, oh, there's no drums in it. It's not even, I don't know if you'd classify it as music, but it's like, it adds so much to it when that track actually starts, you know, and when, yeah. That's just
one of my favorites is the intro for Incarcerated Scarfaces, and there's it's just, and then when the drums come in, it's just like, oh my god,
yeah.
There's just like this conversation happening, and there's these two dudes, and you're just like, wow, this is dark. Like, where's this gonna go? And then those drums come in, and then Raekwon just like tears it apart, and you're just like, fuck, man,
exactly.
Like, just boom, boom, boom. This the way they sequenced it all together is just, I don't know, like. Who else was really doing that at that time?
The originality of it is definitely,
because on the West Coast you had, you know, like those Dr. Dre skits that were amazing, those like very atmospheric,
yeah,
you know,
I really that's something I want to, you know, incorporate more of too, is just kind of like live recordings of just a conversation we might be having, like when we're driving somewhere, or just chilling, like maybe in a session or whatever. It's just like that whole, you know, I think it really helps fans and listeners kind of just connect with you as an artist when you're not just like just rapping at them, you know. It's just, you're able to kind of open a window into your thought process as well. You know,
it's totally like a window. Sometimes when I would listen to those albums, it's like you could have been listening to a movie. You can actually hear like the cars going by, and they're like standing on the street corner, and there's people walking by, and they're, you know, got cash and the crack in their pocket, and you're like, wow, like I'm in New York right now.
Yeah, you can hear the tinfoil, you can hear the spoon bubbling, you know. It's
and I don't know any other genre that does that. Like I don't think they're doing a lot of like country songs that are with skits like that. Although country I do respect for their vivid storytelling ability. They really paint pictures. In a way they really do. So
Yeah, I mean, definitely heartfelt stories in there.
Yeah,
you know?
They're just so honest.
Yeah,
you know, they just tell it how it is.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we were actually talking about country music the other day.
Yeah,
yeah, like it's cool because it's like, but it's the same way as like, you know, like an opera. You know, it's like some crazy. It's almost about what you see and you don't hear at the same time as like when you're in the live, in a live opera. Like, I think that it's just so. Yeah, obviously the sonics can take you to another planet just alone, but then you see it and it adds that whole other level of like interactiveness and engagement. So, yeah.
Have you been to an opera?
Yeah, I went to an opera in like 7th grade, I think.
Oh, wow.
The Orpheum.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I've been to a few myself as well. Like, you know, they're in Italian or in German or whatever, but like
you can't understand. You have no idea what's going on, but then that's what I mean. It's like you see it and you can kind of follow along, and then the passion in the voices is really,
exactly with because they're very exaggerated with the body language, and then with the tone, and then the way that the music will go. I'd be like, oh, like she's fucking mad at him for sure. I don't know what they're saying, but I can tell. Like, and you know, it's fun. That's the funny thing about like. Sounds, you just used the word sonics a moment ago, but like even if there's a language barrier or there is no language, you're not understanding it, we can like feel emotions, we can feel things that are happening just by the way that like regardless of language, it's telling us a story and it's making us feel a way.
Definitely.
A lot of the best, you know, music does that to you. I'm a big fan of like Rammstein, like it's like metal German, you know, just like big guitars and shit, and like very different from hip hop and stuff, but it's just like there's so much emotion in it. It's just so like you know, passion, or like the Gypsy Kings or something. Like that's not a word of English in there, but I'm just like I love like
someone who I've actually been on recently is Tom Brown, and I think there's one joint called Funkin' for Jamaica.
All right.
And it's a bunch of like, you know, it's got its kind of what's the word? Like it's kind of basic melody, but then it's a lot of just like random. I mean, not random, but like just kind of like yells here and there. So it's almost like kids playing in a playground type thing. And then it's like, and then it goes into more of a conversation in an alleyway kind of thing, and just kind of the way it segues between the different scenes vocally. And then sometimes there's no vocals, and it's just the instrumental.
Right.
And it's really, you know, as some kind of like background soundtrack type thing.
What would you call it? Like what genre would it be?
It's funk, I'd say. Like jazz funk fusion, I guess. And
slash experimental.
Yeah, slash experimental. It's really it's good though. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of listening to different shit, man, especially now with Apple Music, Spotify. Like there's no excuse. Every song ever made is at our fingertips.
Yeah, right. It's dope.
And it's great to just go on these little tangents of like, you know, stuff that was made way before we were born that like our parents were into, and go back and listen to that and be like, oh, okay, like now I can see what all the fuss is about.
Right. Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah, I've actually recently, I don't mean to, you know, bash Apple Music at all. I might need to not say that, but the Spotify playlists, I think, are some of the most like, you know, engaging like ways of accessing and listening to music ever, because it's like, you know, I'll just put on a track that I was like feeling like, oh, I need to hear this song. Like I heard it last week. I need to hear this song. And then you just let it play. And the next one's a banger. And you're like, oh shit, that's the same artist, but I haven't heard it yet. And it's really the same energy, and I'm really messing with it. And then it sends you on this whole loop. And then you come across somebody that you didn't even know. Like, oh, he did a feature with him. Like, that's crazy. Now I'm going to check him out. And then you get his whole catalog. And, you know, I think it's a really great tool for kind of introducing yourself to new artists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like they're really have worked out the algorithm there of like knowing what you like and giving you more of that, and then give like spoon feeding you a little bit of newness, with just the right dose, but without throwing you like a curveball where you're like, oh fuck, what is this? Man, the people making those playlists out there are working really hard doing that, because I agree, some of them are really good, and just playing stuff in the background while I'm working or at home or whatever, and I have to walk over to my HomePod like regularly and be like, what is this? What is this? What is this? I have like 50 notes in my phone of like new. What is this?
And, yeah, exactly. It's dope.
So it's great. It's important, like as an artist and creative person, to be open minded and listen to lots of other stuff too, right?
Sure. Yeah, there's always something you can learn from somebody else.
From somebody else in some other genre, and then
just
incorporate that into your
tactics
thing
as well. Like I think things that you might catch in like I don't know, like a Sade track, and it's just like, wow, that tone right there.
Yeah.
Like I might have to use that tone that she used in like part of a rhyme, and like let that rhyme carry that same kind of cadence, and then just continue to add versatility to your whole catalog. You know?
Yep. Oh yeah. I remember going through a phase with her music a couple years ago for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think I recently heard actually an MF Doom Sade remix album.
Oh, nice.
And like, so yeah, it's just the whole thing is like the hooks are all Sade, and then all the 16s are obviously Doom, and it's like the blend and then the beats that are chosen. It's
wow.
It's really nice. It's
really the way that they did like Jay-Z and the Beatles kind of
like that, yeah.
Just take two really dope things and mash them together.
Yeah, exactly. Just mash them up and have them create something completely like, original, but also like you can be in the mood for just some smooth R&B, or you can also be in the mood to like hear some crazy, rap story that's like on some, more aggressive tip than the singing might be, but then it blends nicely and you get a nice little combo. So yeah, amazing, like chocolate and peanut butter, right? Yeah, exactly.
What's your schedule like for doing live performances? Do you have anything lined up? Have you?
I don't have anything lined up, but for anybody listening out there, get at me because I'm ready. I'm definitely my schedule's open, and that's something that's definitely next on the to-do list though.
Right.
Is start playing this tape specifically, and then also some stuff that's unreleased, just to give those live audiences that extra little bit of this is what else I got going on, and this is the next thing. So it's like, yeah, this is dope, and I'm really excited to show people this, but at the same time, it's like I finished writing this like a month ago, 2 months ago almost.
Right. Very fresh.
So it's like yes, it's fresh for like people who haven't heard it, but I'm already, writing the next, recording the next, and just ready to start flooding the whole streets,
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think that could be dangerous? Like obviously you want to be writing new stuff, and if it's coming naturally, then that's even better. But I guess the question I was trying to ask is, are you planning on not touring, but getting out there and performing Parlay, like venues and things like that? Like that's something you want to do.
It's definitely something I want to do. Yeah. I mean, I think my my experience and like it's just all got to be improved, and by doing those live events and stuff like that, it's only going to get better. And like I'm going to take my time with it when it comes to releases and stuff like that for the future. But what's on my plate now is definitely the rollout of Parlay and playing it, making people, making sure people know like this is my sound, and this is what is it's just the foundation.
And this is your debut EP, right? Because you have released singles in the past, and I'm sure, and there were some things that you showed me, but this is the first actual project package with an album cover and a whole thing.
Exactly. It's all platforms, and all my other stuff has just been, just little it's like hobby shit, just to practice, like you said earlier, sharpen the sword and just make it, get it to that level where it can be on all platforms, So this is the debut. It's really exciting. Production from YL and Wyerden, YL's from New York, Wyerden from Texas. Just homies met through, internet appreciation of each other's each other's music, and I think trips. I want to do some travel as well, like with it, and I like go to Toronto, Montreal, New York, and just kind of, obviously that takes time to build those connections. And after experience playing live here, I see no reason why that can't play out, you know?
Good.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right now you're currently writing new things as well with the same team, like same with Hiroshi, is it?
Yeah, Hiroshi.
Correct? Yeah.
Hiroshi is the engineer, mixing master. He produces as well. I've got a little 2-piece project also in the works with him right now.
Dope. Yeah.
That's been, you know, written and kind of just sitting, because it's like, yes, I'm always writing, you know. Anytime something comes into my head, it's like boom, I'll jet that down, and like sometimes it stays as just 4 bars and it'll just sit for a year, you know, and then other times it's like a full 16 just comes at me right then, and it's like, yeah, that might need to be recorded tonight, you know. So it's kind of, but yeah, I've been trying to really having a mic at home. We've been, you know, trying to record as many demos and kind of just little things, just so it's the beginning of something, or has the potential to be the beginning of something next.
Yeah,
you know?
You've captured the idea beyond just having it in your head or written down.
Yeah.
Like I know what you mean. Like, and that's so great that you've figured that out. Like just to get these little building blocks in place, right? And then flesh them out and then refine them. But you couldn't really do that unless you had the setup at home.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
To take it from in the brain to actually, you know, on wax or however you want to call it. You know, or in GarageBand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but
at
that's
least
the start, and then you have to take that step.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, this is a new thing, and I've at least built a foundation for it to become something.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like I think, I'm just excited I feel like it's really like almost more having this come out and be my debut, I feel like is almost more just inspiring for me and motivating for me to be like, okay, I've done it, on to the next kind of, you know, statement and project. And I feel like always creating, whether it's like little videos and little freestyles here and there. It's just constantly compiling things, so we have just like an artillery of things that are ready to be dropped when the time is right. Having
that's kind of what I do with the podcast, as well as like pre-record stuff, so that there's always one ready to come out. So I'm never scrambling for like, oh shit, I need content, people are waiting.
Exactly. So that's exactly what I'm kind of, where my mind state is at right now. It's like, I feel like there's no reason why, if things are flowing, you know, they're flowing, and I'm just going to continue compiling that. But the focus when it comes to what I'm putting out there and what I'm pushing, what I'm trying to get people to hear, is definitely Parlay right now. So
dope.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that that everybody has links and everything to that. I want to when it comes out, we'll you know. That's why you're here, of course, for the project. So I want to make sure that you know we get some traction and some attention.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, and I think last time I was here, we talked about like a little like an event or something that you kind of try and like have like a, you know, almost like a listening party. I think that would be. I've been looking at the spot called the Emerald. I don't know if it's like a bar in Chinatown, kind of top of Chinatown. And that's got a nice little, like, a room lined with booths. It's got a nice stage, a big table in the middle.
Dope.
So I think that something there, once the project is out, and just kind of to get all the people that have really shown support and love to get out there and, you know, take a listen, have some live sets from myself, of course, to play the project. And I think that'd be a really cool event.
We'll roll up in our...
We have
92 Lexuses and we'll pop the Moe.
Exactly. We have to. That's just, that's how we move.
Yeah. We'll be in our wallabies and our leather jackets.
Exactly. And, Danier leathers, sweaters from Perry Ellis, move like good fellas. It's just what we do.
Are you producing it all? Because last time we talked, you'd mentioned that some of the stuff you showed me was that you'd actually done yourself. Like you chopped the samples and things.
I'm definitely still, you know, listening and looking for samples. The focus has been more on the writing recently, but I'm actually in the process of applying to independent music production program out in Toronto, actually, at Seneca. So yeah, depending on how that goes, I think the whole, learning avenue is just, it's important. And like that just, again, opens more doors, whether I want to, refine. Because I feel like why I stepped away between, the last time we talked and now in regards to production is just because like I'd been writing for 4 years now, and practicing like recording and all that and getting my vocals to a certain level for probably the past like year and a half, 2 years. And then so it's kind of like I feel like it was almost like a disservice to myself to try and use a skill that's so fresh and undeveloped with combining that with a skill that's so, I feel like has been so practiced and tuned.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was like, I just, that's for a future.
I like that
endeavors,
though, that you recognize that, and like, it's like we talked about at the beginning, like if someone can do it better than you, like get that person for the job. And like you've built your team around you and then that lets you just be a better lyricist ultimately.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the focus is. And I think that's definitely, aside from the messages inside the lyrics, it's like, that's one of the main messages of Parlay. It's like, I'm an MC. That's what I do. I kick the fly shit. And that is what it is, And when it comes to production, that's something that I'll get to when I've had the experience and when I'm ready to kind of, when I hear a beat that I've made myself and I'm like, damn, that slaps. Yeah. Like at the same level as like the dudes who produce this joint, when it carries the same weight, then I know it's ready. Yeah. But till then, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, you're not going to force it and rush it. And the more time you spend in the studio with, sitting next to the engineer, just being in the whole experience, you'll pick things up. You'll learn these skills along the way. And like look at Eminem, for example. Like he was Eminem, Dre signed him, and then he learned how to make beats and learned how to mix. And you look at a lot of those G-Unit, 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks stuff in the late 2000s and 2000s. Like Eminem's a mix engineer credited on some of that shit.
That's crazy.
And a producer, right? Like nowhere to be seen vocally, but because he spent so much time with Dr. Dre just sitting there watching, learned those skills over the years and then was able to do other stuff at a super high level. So
exactly. Yeah, that's like my homie, shouts out Eros. He is someone else that I've been, just running with in the circle, he's a producer. He sings as well. He's got his own flavors going on. But he's been helping me, flip like samples that I've brought to him. Be like, yo, and this I feel like has potential. Like I tried to flip it, but like, can you add a little, I need drums on this. I need like and then he just cooks it. I watch him cook it up and it's like, okay. So like, I have no idea what you just did, but I saw it though. Yeah. So now at least I can like catalog that. So when I learn the technical, aspect of it, I'll be like, okay, I saw that. And now I can kind of, I have that pre, like I saw it happen. Yeah. Now I know what he actually did when he clicked there, and there. And then, exactly.
But just like you're saying,
exactly. It just falls into place.
But you have the initial spark and the interest and man, like there's so much that's involved in the studio experience, all the little details and stuff. And just the more you do it, the more you'll just learn the whole language of all of it. Yeah. And it'll you're a smart guy. You'll pick it up. It'll just come. Yeah. Okay, so I don't get a chance to ask this to everybody because I just don't know if everyone's done the same amount of hip-hop homework that I feel like you have in the past, or as a real lyricist like I think that you are. So I want to get your top 5 dead or alive MCs.
Top 5?
If we can do that.
Wow, yeah. It might take me some time, but yeah, no.
There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. Fair. Like I said.
Top 5 MCs dead or alive. I gotta go with Ghostface. For I'm gonna go no order, but just in no terms order. Of Ghostface, I think set a whole, like the slang, like Ghostface and Kappa. I'm gonna say 1, 2, just kind of like package deals. Like Raekwon's a close third, but the way Kappa and Ghostface, their delivery the slang, the flows, the pacing, all that, just it's elite, untouchable. After that, I gotta say, Prodigy is way up there. Again, flows, the whole essence. I feel like writing-wise, he, towards the end of his, rest in peace, of course, by the way, but I think towards the end of his kind of career, it was not the same energy as the first several albums. Like, I think H&IC was probably the last, like, really, just like, wow.
Yeah.
Project from him.
He became a different guy, I feel like, from his early Mobb Deep days to his late H&IC 3 product of the 80s days. Like, a big Prodigy fan myself as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just again, elite level. Like a legend. So yeah, who I got now? Ghostface, Kappa, Prodigy. Don't get me wrong, I don't only listen to 90s artists, okay, so I'm gonna give I'll throw some modern ones in there. Top of the rotation right now has been Rock Marciano. He I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but
I don't think so.
He came up with Busta. He was part of Flip Mode.
Okay.
Young member of Flip Mode. Been in the game for 20 plus years, I want to say. And yeah, that's just his style of rhyming, I think, is so, again, the slang, but also the vividness, the vocal paintings are just so ill. Plus, he's on that kind of, self-produced as well, on the RZA type shit. Like, and I think that's something that's really inspiring to me. And when you're able to create your own beats and just kind of have your whole identity as just that curated, is really.
It's
really
remarkable,
dope to me.
When people do that correctly,
Yeah, and then number 5, I'm gonna go with West Side Gun.
Okay.
West Side Gun, another modern out of Buffalo. Rock Marcy's from New York, but West Side out of Buffalo. Like, his whole movement right now, the whole Griselda GXFR movement is a force to be reckoned with. And I think, like, people have been calling it the new Wu-Tang type energy, and like it's
I'm gonna have to do some homework now.
Well, that's where I think the skits and the slang, and where it's, like you're saying, that whole language is still spoken. I think you just got to do a little bit. It's just not as common. It's not the common.
It's not as mainstream right now. Yeah,
exactly. But it's definitely still out there, and those are the guys that I'm chasing after that right now. That's the race I'm in. So, Love it. I think, that's a solid top 5. I think right there.
I'd have to agree. Yeah. That's
Cool.
That's a good superhero squad to throw in any fight right there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think that's a
pound for pound.
Yeah.
You got a good mix there.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, let's get you out of here. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're busy writing the next platinum EP.
We'll see. Yeah.
Where can people check you out online? On social media and whatnot?
Instagram is at Eshxq. With an X instead of an A.
There you go.
Otherwise, project is going to be all platforms. That link will be posted up everywhere. I can get it as soon as it's dropped. Should be November 30th. But you know how the processing is. Could be,
give or take
delays.
A few days. Sometimes it's iTunes and those places. Spotify can be
sometimes
weird,
they act funky, but it should be up by then. Yeah. Other than that, I've got a Bandcamp link as well, and that's where we're gonna I don't know if we're gonna listen to it right now, but that's where it's out right now. It's just probably gonna end up on DatPiff as well. Just try and get it as many places, because why not? Exposure is exposure, and I'm excited for everybody to hear it.
It's Parlay. You are Eshxq.
I am Eshxq.
And this has been Demo to Limo.
Demo to Limo. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, sir. This has been fun.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. We hope you're having a fantastic week. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.